current photography workhorse is the Sony A7 III. Let's talk about it. This camera has assisted me in over 200 photo shoots. As of this video, 130 of them have been in the past 3 months. I've done a few video projects with this camera professionally and some for this YouTube channel, which I'm still working on, so let's keep a lookout for that. But through my use of this camera and putting it through its paces, I've noticed some of its upsides and downsides. The sides that keep me coming back to this camera, holding off of upgrading, also the sides that make me want to upgrade right after I'm done with this video. Let's start with the upsides. Upside one is it comes with a full frame sensor. I've used APS-C and I'm filming on an APS-C camera right now, the Fujifilm X-H1, and I've used Micro Four Thirds in the past. And the difference in range of ISO and exposing in different scenes, from light scenes to dark scenes, is night and day. I've learned a lot by exposing scenes with a full frame sensor. So exposing with the A7 III, especially when in a dark home, has been a dream compared to other cameras, which leads into upside two, the ease of exposing the shot. With the stabilized sensor, I've been able to use shutter speeds as low as 1/3 of a second with an ISO of 640 and still get a usable image. I try not to crank the ISO too much, so having the ability to use a slower shutter speed while keeping ISO low is definitely an upside. And upside three, the size of the A7 III. The size of the A7 III is great for real estate photography. It is great for using with small slings, especially when you are in a small space and you don't want a big backpack. You can just throw it in a small sling and not take up too much space, especially when you're in smaller apartments. I feel the grip size is comfortable. It isn't too big to where you feel like you have to intentionally grip the camera, and it isn't too small to where it feels like it's gonna fall out of your hand. Let's move on to the downsides. I really like the Sony A7 III, but it does have its downsides. Like downside number one, not having a fully articulating screen. Where this becomes a major pain is when I am in a corner framing out the shot and I have to do this dance around the lens and the camera to try and see the screen in order to frame out the shot. Sometimes I have to take the shot 3 to 4 times or pray I'm able to adjust in post without cropping in too far during the edit when I am on shoots where the time is very limited. This is definitely a pain when I'm trying to make sure all the lines are vertical. I could use an external monitor or the Sony mobile app. However, I have 30 to 45 minutes to get in, prep the property, take the photos, shut down the property, and get out. Taking that extra time to deal with the lag of the app and set up the monitor cuts into that 30 to 45 minute window. A flip out screen would have been very useful. Downside number two, 24 megapixels. Sometimes 24 megapixels isn't enough. When it comes to social media, 24 megapixels is great, but there are times where I want to crop in for my own creative work, and 24 megapixels isn't enough. Now this all comes down to the window of time I have on each site, and sometimes getting more creative shots kind of go out of the window, and something like the A7R4 would be great. However, it is lacking a flip out screen, and the A1 would be a good option as well, but I feel like that's overkill for what I do, and I don't think it has a flip out screen either. I could be wrong about that. With that, the image quality of the A7 III is great. Functionality and usability is superb, and you can watch this video right here on why the A7 III is the best entry-level photography camera today. Thanks for joining. Stay awesome.